And Natasha showed me a little sneak peek of her side yard, and if you have a narrow garden or side yard, this is perfection. Hi, it's Steph, and today we're in Rhode Island with Natasha.
Hi, everyone.
And Natasha also has a channel here on YouTube called The Garden Mouse, and her garden is beautiful. So today Natasha is going to walk us through her garden and give us a tour. Natasha, this area is the first spot that I saw when we pulled up, and it is beautiful. You want to tell us what you did in this space?
Sure. I love looking at how everything is just coming into bloom now. The beautiful flowers here are the tuberous begonias. These are nonstop rose picotee. And I was shocked that they do well directly in the ground. I had only seen them in planters before. They will bloom until frost.
They literally look like a rose. May I look at it? Look how pretty that is. Gorgeous.
I love the variation of the picotee too.
Oh yeah, there's lots of shades of different shades of pink. And these are stunning.
The Astilbe. You came at the right time for the Astilbe. Yes. I was so glad they're in bloom.
They are gorgeous.
I just love the height difference and the texture difference with the fluffiness that they provide.
You know what's great too is that they're perennial. So they'll come back every year, and then you have the space in the center to play with different annuals.
And technically I could dig up the tuberous begonias and overwinter them.
Oh, you could.
But I haven't done that yet.
Haven't gone there yet,
yeah,
right?
Maybe one year I will.
And I love how you have some evergreen interest and some deciduous trees. Now, these are unusual sidewalk trees, and I love them because they're Japanese maples.
Yeah.
So what kind are these?
So these are sangukakus. They are a coral bark. So the bark on them turns bright red in winter, which I love for the winter interest.
For sure. They are really pretty. Yeah, I love that. Great use for these trees, because in the winter you'll drive up and have this really pretty coral bark. Oh, gorgeous. Great choice.
Yeah.
This is beautiful. So this is your brick wall garden.
The brick wall garden close to the road.
Perfect name. Beautiful.
We want a lot of color as people pull up. I love color and playing with color.
I do too. And I think especially in a shady spot, it's very important.
Yeah.
And as we come into your driveway, we can see that you've continued that color with these sun patience, are they?
Yes, and we have continued more shade.
Oh, but this is beautiful. I'm getting to appreciate shade gardens a lot more now that I'm feeling a lot hotter in the sun. So I actually love shade gardens. I think they are so beautiful, and there's a lot of way to add color.
Yeah, it's an interesting spot too, because we do get some really hot afternoon sun for the first half of this garden, I would say. So the sun patients transition really nice. They don't mind the shade or the sun.
Perfect.
And so that's been really good. So this was all grass. You're going to notice that I keep taking grass away from the yard, and we decided to make it a garden. This is going to be a dwarf conifer and Japanese maple garden. So most of the things here are only going to get 3 to 4 feet tall and wide. Some of them only get to be like 1.5 to 2 feet tall and wide. And I'm fine with moving them as they get bigger too, but I'm experimenting with all of these things. You probably recognize a ton of these
I
plants.
love this so much, because as you know, we also have a Japanese maple garden, and I love conifers. Living here in the Northeast, I feel like they're such an important component of every garden, because when all of our perennials are dormant in the winter months, we still have something pretty to look at, and it offers a lot of structure and visual interest in those cold winter months with evergreens and conifers. And I love your use of the annuals in here to provide a pop of color. So you have coleus, the sun patience, which we've talked about, and those coleus should get pretty large.
They
over
get
the course
really
of the
big. I
season.
grow my coleus from seed,
Oh,
so that's
nice.
one of my winter projects. And now we're getting some hot weather. They'll start putting on some more growth, which is really good.
This is the perfect spot for growing those types of plants. The Japanese maples like a part shade situation, and the conifers, like you said, even if they don't get enough sun over time, you can move them. In general, they usually need more sun to thrive and to get larger, but if you keep them in part sun, they'll just grow a little bit slower, which might not be a bad thing in this area. Right. And I love this. Taking away grass in areas like this is easier too sometimes from a maintenance standpoint, right?
Oh yeah. And you know, if you love gardening, you just want to keep getting more plants. So we have to keep expanding somehow.
I love that.
So it'll be interesting. Those conifers that are in the bags here are hardy down to zones 2 or 3 lower than where we are, so they can stay out. A lot of times I move them to be centerpieces in other planters for the winter, so we sort of highlight them.
And grow bags are great because they're very well draining and easy to move with the handles.
Yes, I find that being the lightweight things for me really important.
Agreed. I see that you have a Japanese maple there that has a red stem similar to the Sengokaku's. Is that another?
That is another coral bark. That's Cupid. It's in a planter because it might get too large for that area, but I love the coral bark.
It's pretty.
So I could not pass it up. And then actually right to the left of that here down is Coral Magic. And this also is going to be a coral bark too.
Nice.
So I'm looking for those winter interest pieces. And so much fun. The Coral Magic, when it puts out the leaves initially, they're really pink coral in
beautiful.
spring. Really pretty.
We're always looking for new varieties. So I'm glad that you showed us some new ones that we weren't familiar with. And you have a beautiful pot back there with, what plant is that purple one?
So this is Broalia. This is the Endless Illumination Broalia. And it is just fabulous because the rabbits don't eat it and my bunnies will eat everything. And it blooms and blooms and blooms.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Doesn't seem to mind shade, sun. So Broalia is one I discovered a few years ago.
And that's one I've never grown before, so I'm going to add it to the list.
Highly recommend that one.
And you have some beautiful Brunnera and some hellebore in this area too, which is perfect for a part shade garden.
Hellebore's doing great. The Brunnera, believe it or not, my bunnies eat it.
Those bunnies.
Can you believe? I know. It's like you can see how it's nibbled on. They
that leaf there.
Yep. They do not give up.
That is the most stressful part of keeping our plants alive is that we're contending with nature, right? We're taking over their space, so we have to kind of live in harmony, but it's a little difficult to accept them eating our plants.
And
sometimes.
you have deer too.
Tons of deer.
Oh my goodness.
We've had a bunny boom, so we have tons of deer, we have bunnies. There are 5 groundhogs living under our neighbor's shed.
We have a groundhog under our shed.
There's a mama with 4 babies and chipmunks and squirrels, but I don't feel like they bother my plants too much.
I feel like they do in spurts. And all of a sudden I'll go out and be like, oh no, the groundhog had lunch.
So stressful as a gardener. And right here in the front, in this bed, you have some begonias?
Yes, these are the double up pink begonias from Proven Winners. First year that I'm trying them.
Very pretty.
I have seen some bunnies nibbling a little bit, but they're not too bad. So maybe it will work. We'll have to see.
They're very pretty. I like how the blooms are a bit more dainty, but also frilly.
Yeah, I was hoping that they'll really cover the plant and blossoms. We'll have to see as the season goes on.
They'll fill out and kind of take this whole front border here.
Yeah.
Very nice. And these planters are gorgeous. So pretty. I love the obelisk with the lights. These are perfect for this. These are like a wire?
Yeah, those are just the fairy lights. I found them on Amazon and they're solar powered. So it's great. They do have the little panel in there somewhere.
That's wonderful.
And they're still coming on. I put them out for Christmas and I like them so much. It just gives that little cheerful look.
I like that. I think that's really pretty, the glow in the evening. And this is the tiara?
Yes, this is the new tiara blue. And it is doing so well. I like how it tends to mound up a bit more.
How many did you plant in each of these pots?
I think I did 3 in each.
So this is going to really fill out as the season
it really
goes
will.
on.
I tend to stuff all the planters full, and then if I need to trade them out later in the season, I will. But
because sometimes when you go to look for plants later, you can't find them.
That's so true.
But this trio here looks really pretty as you come onto the front porch. And these planters are so stately and gorgeous, and they really accentuate the architecture of your beautiful home. This is gorgeous.
I always do some mandevilla in the center. This is the first year I'm trying the white mandevilla, but I like it. A little change.
I actually did white mandevilla in my shed window boxes. I love mandevilla and dipladenia. So the difference is the mandevilla climbs up and the dipladenia bushes out.
I love them both.
Beautiful. What colors have you tried here in the past?
Usually I do pink.
The pink.
Usually I do the pink.
The pink is gorgeous.
You know, but but a little change is good.
Yeah, I feel like the white is like classy, and it's very pretty too.
Goes with everything.
It goes with everything. You know what's great about these and why I love them so much is that they're pretty drought tolerant.
They really are, which is wonderful. These are not on drip, so I have to remember to water them.
Yes.
So that's always a good thing.
The good thing is that the container is so large, it holds a good deal of soil, which means it also holds on to a little bit of moisture, right?
Most of my planters have a secret to them.
What's that?
So if you look, I do the bag in the pot in a pot. So my centerpiece is in a bag, nestled into a nursery pot. And then I plant the rim gap separately. So I can just grab the handles and lift that out and trade it anytime that I want.
Nice.
I do the same for these planters here too. So in the center of each one, we have a little dipladenia here. And here's my bag. I can just lift that out and put in a different centerpiece.
That is so smart.
So it's so handy because you know how it is. You get to fall, you want to put in, you know, your mums or something, and you can do that. And then if it's not looking its best, it goes to the back of the garden to wait till next year. So,
and that's brilliant. And I also love the idea that the roots are going to be contained for that particular plant in that grow bag, so that it's easier to just swap things in and out versus having to dig out and losing all of that soil.
It helps with the mandevilla because the mandevilla likes to dry out in the center.
That's
right. But I need to keep my petunias wet.
Oh,
so
for different
I can
watering
actually water
requirements.
differently.
That is smart.
So far, it's working well.
That is real smart. Yes. So you can keep the center drier and then more moisture around the edges.
Yes.
I love that. I had never seen anyone use that before. That is amazing, Natasha.
Highly recommended.
Beautiful. And look how large this bloom is. So pretty.
Looks so pretty.
Did you trellis this yourself with the bamboo?
I do. Yep, I use those little orchid clips until they grab on.
I was a 90s kid, and these used to be what we did our little
hair clips.
Yes. The little twisty front.
I am too.
Yes, look at that. But this is beautiful. And I love how you also have this shady border here that leads you into the backyard. Shade corners can be difficult in gardens, but I love this because you have plants that have really filled out and make a real impact in this space. Some rhododendrons that have finished blooming. You also have a beautiful Japanese maple in the corner. And then as you come around, you have some astilbe and a climbing, is that a clematis?
It is. That's the president.
Oh, a beautiful purple.
Yes, beautiful. And you'll notice I do have some fencing around the bottom because my bunnies would also love the clematis.
Yes.
But that seems to be enough.
And this is an Incredible or an Annabelle?
That is a Seaside Serenade Bar Harbor, but it is a smooth hydrangea, yes. I love the Seaside Serenade hydrangeas.
Do you find it more sturdy and upright?
I do.
Very nice.
It's still not too old yet. It needs to put on a little bit more growth, but we're getting there.
And this is a really beautiful holly?
It is, yeah. This is a dwarf holly. It only gets to be about 6 feet tall, 4 feet wide. I just love how conical it is.
Yes.
It just is a nice shape.
It's perfect for this corner, and because it's going to stay relatively small, it won't interfere with your porch.
We're hoping.
Yeah, this is perfect. Beautiful, and it has berries. So this is a female.
Yes.
You have a male pollinator nearby?
We do, way in the other corner of the front yard here. So you can't see it, but it is there.
That's good. So that is the thing with hollies that bear berries. You need to have a male pollinator nearby. Even if your neighbor has one, you'll get berries. But if you end up not getting berries after a couple of years and you have a female, then you know you have to add one in your garden to pollinate it.
What a shame, you have to buy another plant.
What a shame. And you have some beautiful ferns and European ginger?
Yes, a neighbor actually divided theirs for us, which is lovely. So I'm hoping that spreads.
This is a beautiful ground cover. I actually have some in my garden that I bought at a garden fair several years ago, and just this year it is now filling out and looking lovely. I really like it. The shiny foliage is beautiful.
You know, when we moved here, it was really a mature yard. So we've taken out some of the things that were past, but we have some really nice, large azaleas, rhododendrons, which is really fabulous that we were lucky to have big trees, and I love trees. So there's such a gift with a mature landscape like this. Yes.
Beautiful. And this path here leads us into your beautiful side yard. And Natasha showed me a little sneak peek of her side yard. And if you have a narrow garden or side yard, this is perfection.
And this has only been here 3 years. This is the third season, yes.
Lovely.
So when we moved in, this was all gravel. just plain gravel on this side.
This is beautiful.
Thank you. I love this side yard. So you can tell we don't have a lot of space. And when we moved in, this was all gravel. And 3 years ago, my husband said that we could turn it into a garden. I was so excited.
Don't you love when husbands make that suggestion? That is perfect.
Oh, yes.
And you have a nice windy path here, which also gives the illusion of more space, which is lovely.
Definitely. I like the curved path.
Gorgeous.
And I love daylilies and hydrangeas. Those are my two plants, flowers that are my favorite. And the first daylily bloomed for you today.
Oh,
in a
look
couple
at that.
weeks, we'll have a lot more. They're coming.
So
I
pretty.
like the pinks and purples. So pretty much all my daylilies with a few yellow ones to bring out the color. But they intersperse nicely with the hydrangea. And I have 54 different varieties of hydrangea that I grow. So I like as many hydrangea types as possible.
So you'll have to give us some of your favorites as we're walking through.
This is my favorite for the late blooming. This is Seaside Serenade Newport.
Okay.
And it's a real beautiful purple. So it's just putting its buds on now, but then it'll go until fall and very prolific. Blooms whether we have a bad winter or not, which is wonderful.
So it blooms on new wood as well?
It does. I'm trying to get most that bloom on new wood and
That's
old
wise.
woods. You know, it's interesting. This is Big Band. I love this one, Golden Penny. So it looks like it has a problem, but it doesn't. It honestly,
it just has
supposed to
yellow
look
foliage.
that way. Yes, and it doesn't have the most spectacular flowers, but the foliage to me just makes it stand out.
It does. It adds a little bright pop of color.
Yeah.
Very pretty.
So it's really interesting to see.
I really love how your clematis is now done blooming, but these spiral bloom heads are so pretty, so pretty. I don't have one that does this yet. I'm hoping as it matures. I have a couple of clematis. They don't do the greatest for me. Kind of like roses, but I keep trying because they're beautiful.
I think they're so much fun. They look like you
So
should do
much
an art project with them or something.
Do you have a favorite source? I have a lot of viewers of my channel that really do love daylilies. They were actually, some people were a little upset.
They were sad that you took yours
I
out.
removed my daylilies. But I mean, I can appreciate that in other people's gardens. It's just in my garden because I deal with so many deer. I was constantly having to spray the buds so that the deer didn't eat them.
And that's tough. And the rabbits don't eat them.
That's perfect.
So they do really well. I order a lot from Blue Ridge Nurseries and from Kathy's Daylilies. They both have Facebook pages. And they send nice big clumps out, which is so much fun to get the unboxing and be like, oh, this is
for
wonderful.
Sure.
Yes.
Because you get a nice healthy start to begin with.
Yeah, and that's the most important piece.
For real. And I also love how you label all of your plants, which I have to do because while I can still remember most of their names, it's getting harder.
It is.
And the more plants you have, the harder it is. So I have to work on this project over the winter, making tags for all of my plants. I love that.
Oh, it does help. And you know, and some of the hydrangea will get a little wilty in the sun, but they perk up later in the day. So that's good. This is a favorite bicolor. This is peppermint. And so it has sort of that white edging, and then it'll either be blue or pink depending on your pH.
Very pretty.
But that's a real pretty one.
The light conditions on this side yard are
weird. No.
We all have those spots in the garden.
Yes.
So I would say it is morning and you have full sun in the morning.
We get
so the
full sun
moves.
in the morning, and then by afternoon you're pretty much in the shade. So it's really ideal for those macrophylla hydrangeas.
For sure, morning sun, afternoon shade.
Let's Dance Rhythmic Blue
This is gorgeous.
is a fabulous performer. There are 3 bushes here.
In this area.
And they're one of the earliest to come on. I love how it blooms the different colors on the same bush.
Right. You have some that have more blue, and then you have some purple and pink. Gorgeous.
This year I'm going to try to cut some to bring inside. You know, I haven't felt that the bushes were large enough before,
to do that?
So now I'm going to. This is Summer Crush here.
Oh, that's a beauty
And
too.
it just, I think it's only supposed to be 3 to 4 feet.
Well,
But
it looks 5
likes
by 5.
this place.
It's happy.
Very
it's certainly
happy, which is good. So I might have to get some more of that kind.
For sure. What was that one behind your bubbling fountain?
That's a panicle. That is berry white.
Oh.
Yes, so it does turn a nice deep pink. I only had about 5 blossoms on it last year. I think this year it looks like it's going to do better.
It sure does. There are tons of buds on it. I was curious what that was, and it's great that you have them. You have hydrangeas here at different bloom stages, so that you'll get an extended bloom show, which is lovely.
Yeah, which is a lot of fun. I love looking back as things.
This
I
is
try to take a
gorgeous.
picture so I can remember what blooms at different times.
This is so beautiful, Natasha. You've really made the most out of this space. I would say, how wide would you say this is?
It's
maybe
not 15 to 15
20
feet.
I was going to go with about
yeah.
20 feet, and it looks so lush and beautiful, and I'm really noticing this winding path. It accentuates this narrow side yard, gives it some movement, and really makes it look a lot larger.
It does, and I've been pleased how much I can pack into this small space.
It's gorgeous.
The whole property is only about 1/3 of an acre, so
Beautiful.
it's really not a big property, and the house footprint takes up a lot of that. So we have to
maximize
every
space.
moment, every
Yes.
space we can.
As we're looking down this path, what I'm noticing is all of the beautiful contrast that you have in texture. So you have the leafy grass foliage of the daylilies. You also have what looks to be some iris as you head towards your fountain. And then there are the hydrangeas. And then even along the edge here, is this a sedum?
It is. This is lemon coral sedum. I love the color, and the texture makes the bunnies not eat it, which is good.
Perfect, and adds that pop of color, like you
Yes.
said. Now, these are, so this is a lemon coral sedum?
It is.
Annual for you?
Pretty much it's an annual. It's supposed to be hardy to zone 7, and we're sort of right on the border there. So sometimes some of it lives.
Yeah.
A lot of times I replace it.
And you repeated it all the way down the border, which looks lovely. Now, I can give you a suggestion for an alternative.
Yes, please.
So I grow the Angelina stonecrop sedum.
Okay.
And it is very similar. It gets this beautiful chartreuse golden lime color in the summer months, in the warmer months, but it's perennial.
Oh,
And
nice.
it stays evergreen. So it
I like
actually,
this.
yes, it actually goes a shade of bronze in the winter, and it looks exactly the same in terms of texture.
I think I have to switch over now.
Yes. So find yourself some Angelina stonecrop sedum, and I'm happy to share some with you because I have a ton of it.
Oh, wonderful.
And you can plop that along the edge here, and over time it will grow, and you'll have the same effect.
Oh, that's lovely. I
Yes.
just love that color, so that's good. And the rabbits don't eat that kind either.
They do not touch it in my garden
love
so
it.
far. I don't want to jinx
I
anything.
know,
but-
fingers crossed.
And you have another one of this beautiful hydrangea here, right?
Yes, that's that golden penny. And this one's in a planter. So if I have them in a pot or a bag, I do overwinter them in the shed.
Okay.
And that seems to keep them happy.
And you keep them in a planter or a pot because you haven't decided on the spot for it yet, or you just like to place them in different areas?
Sometimes I just like to have that option to move them around.
That's very smart.
Yeah.
I like that.
It makes a difference.
And you have some vertical growth with the obelisk and your clematis.
Yes.
And then you also have this beautiful plant in a planter, which is also wise. This is a ginkgo.
This is American, which is a dwarf. I think you have that one too,
yes.
don't
So
you?
this is an Isley.
Yes.
And it's gorgeous. I do not have American actually,
Oh, okay.
but it's on my list because I don't have a ginkgo yet.
You
and I
don't?
do not. Of all the Japanese maples and the conifers that I have, I do not have a ginkgo. And partly because I have heard that there is a male and a female. One of them has stinky fruit.
Yes.
I'm not certain.
So you want to get the male.
Yes. Okay, so that's it. I want to get a male.
Yes, and I think most of your nurseries really just sell the males now.
Oh, good.
So you're pretty safe. I found this one at Briggs.
Did you?
So yes, and it's done great.
I'll have to add
This
one.
is its 3rd or 4th year. I don't do anything to protect it. It just lives in the pot and seems happy. I love how it turns bright yellow in the fall.
So it has beautiful fall interest, and it has a really unique fan-shaped leaf.
It's just very pretty, and it comes out early too. So you know when you're looking for trees to bud in spring,
It does.
It's like all of a
Nice.
sudden you see that.
Perfect. Oh, and as you head over this corner, you have your garden shed, which gives you a little reprieve from the morning sun. Beautiful shady corner.
These are all of my coleus that grew from seed, and then right underneath the trellis is my groundhog hole.
Oh, yes. They love to hide under the sheds.
Yes, and so that groundhog has been digging its way out again and again
Right
and
here, George.
crushing some of my coleus, but it is really cute. So I think I'm going to let it stay.
Does it eat your coleus?
It hasn't done too much to the coleus. A couple times we've seen it get up on the deck and it loves the petunias.
Oh no.
Oh yes. So we actually have a little fence to fence the deck off, and that seems to be helping.
But this is lovely. I love your little seating area so that you can take a little break. I ask every gardener this, so I'm going to ask you, Natasha, do you ever sit in the garden?
I sit up on our deck a lot.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that's the best place.
I'm glad that you get to sit and enjoy it a little bit. I'm trying to do more of that these days.
It's hard because as soon as you get outside, you want to do something in the garden.
That's right. You always find something that needs your help, right? And what a beautiful climbing hydrangea. This has been the theme this summer. This month, I've gone to a couple of different gardens that have had climbing hydrangeas. And something that I wasn't aware of was that they will also climb horizontally. I thought they would only climb vertically, and this is lovely.
This was here when we moved in, so I can't really take credit for it, and they did have it climb over this fence. It was actually maybe out to here last year, and I did a hard cut back.
Prune back.
So another year, that'll really come back. It just takes over. On the other side of the fence, there's the trunks that it grows from. Like, this thing has been around a long time.
It's very mature.
You can really tell.
It's beautiful. So you had to take back some of your walkway.
We did, yes. We wanted to be able to walk through.
This canopy of this tree creates the most amazing entrance to what looks like a little secret garden nook.
This is our secret garden, the shade garden, and the bunny buffet.
Well, if you give them a buffet, maybe they'll stay away from everything else.
I'm hoping. So I do have a bunch of hosta in here, and I have some cloches. I took them off for today. I tend to just sort of move them around to cover the ones that are looking the most eaten at that time, so the bunnies go after those that haven't been eaten for a while. So here's our nice fat trunk to the
climbing hydrangea.
Climbing hydrangea.
Wow, this is real pretty though.
It's nice and cool. You can tell the difference in temperature.
You know, I would almost want to put a little day bed back here in this corner, and this would become like my garden bedroom.
Place to relax.
Yep, you can tell the husband and the children. Mom is taking a nap in her outdoor room.
I like that.
That is beautiful. And is this something you said you might work on this area as well?
Yes, so I've been waiting for you to come to do the tour, and then I'm going to start tearing things up. Not too much. We used to have arborvitaes here, but this winter we lost a lot of things. We lost the arborvitaes that were against the fence. So I'm taking it as a sign that I should expand the garden a little bit.
There you go.
And I'm going to bring it out in a curve. I'm thinking a couple small Japanese maples and the hydrangeas here too. So
that is also a beautiful hydrangea, the eclipse with the dark foliage.
With the dark foliage. I like the dark foliage against the fence. It stands out nicely.
Yes, it
and
sure
it's a unique color. I don't really have any hydrangeas that have that contrast with the dark foliage and the
rosy blooms.
Yeah, just beautiful.
Very pretty.
I feel like they're coming out with more and more hydrangea varieties that they have to now have something really unique when they put something out. Yeah.
So you have some with the yellow unique foliage.
Yeah.
What is it called? The penny?
The golden penny.
Golden penny. And there's the eclipse with the dark on the opposite end of the spectrum. And then there's all of those beautiful ones in the middle.
Yeah.
But you have 54 currently?
54 varieties.
Well, that number's going to keep going
80,
up.
I know.
With the new breeding that they're doing.
Amazing.
And this is really nice too. This is like a courtyard almost, because you have like a circular grassy area with the borders around the edges.
Which keep coming in, and here are all my daylilies. So this is like my prize bed here. These are all pretty much pink and purples with a few other colors in there. And my mom does amazing daylilies. So she got me started. Daylilies are great to share because you can divide them so often. So
yeah, they really are great for dividing. They multiply fast, I find.
They do.
Yeah.
And once again, not getting eaten, which is so key. I like to sit up on the deck and be able to see all the flowers sort of peeking over.
That looks beautiful.
Nice.
And because you have mostly bunnies, the bunnies don't eat the daylilies.
No, they really don't. They might nibble on a few leaves, but
in general,
okay.
They
seem to leave the flowers.
In my garden, July was the big daylily month. Is that the same for you?
Yeah, usually second week of July.
Okay.
They're in their prime, but they're coming.
They also have different season daylilies. So there's the early, the mid, and the late season. So you can really have blooms through most of the season if you planned it that way.
I usually find my last daylilies end around the third week of August. So I get a good month in there.
That's
excellent. Pretty continual bloom, which is nice.
But this is beautiful. I love how you've planted it en masse around your deck here.
It's fun.
And here on your deck, you also have lots of beautiful plantings.
This is one of my favorite places to be. I come out here in the morning with my tea and can just look at all the annuals. And I have a lot of hydrangeas up here too. So I tend to put the hydrangeas up here that I want to keep the closest eye on.
Okay, that
so
makes sense.
maybe they're newer or they're my favorites. So I can sort of trade them out. These are all the bag in the pots too. So I can rotate.
Wonderful. Which varieties do you have up here?
So this is Wedding Gown, which is a lace cap, and it turns a beautiful pink in fall.
Oh, the blooms are unique too. They almost look like star-shaped.
They're kind of like that double.
Oh, very pretty.
Very pretty. Over in the corner, we have City Line Mars, which is a really pretty bicolor. It has that white rim around it. That's a fun one.
Well.
That one doesn't bloom on new wood, so that one gets overwintered in the shed, which is great. And then I have Wee Bit Giddy here, one of my favorites. Oh yes, always really bright and saturated, whether it's pink or purple, and which I love. And this one is here because I'm keeping a close eye on it. This is Violet Crown, which I ordered twice, killed the first one, and now we're on our second try. This is its second year, and I think it's big enough it's going to make it now. And it's interesting how it sort of stays green in the center, and then has that color to it. It can be a violet crown. It is probably supposed to be purple for most people, but it's pink for me, which is fine.
And then you have all of these beautiful petunias all around as well.
Lots of petunias,
So you repeated the tiara purple up here like you have in the front obelisk planters.
Yes, and I also have the tiara pink. This is Silverberry,
Oh, it's
which
a
I
pretty one.
love, really pretty. And I think they just work well together.
They really do.
I tend to trade things out in here too. So I have the African daisies, but they don't like it hot. So they won't last much longer. So in some of these, I've already traded some out, and then I put in some star flower, the pentas. But like this one was still blooming, so I leave it till it really slows down, and then I just scoop them out.
So the osteospermum is the African daisy. I tried those for the first time last year. I'm finding exactly what you're describing. They are a cooler weather flower or annual. They do best in early spring. Once it gets really hot in the summer, for me, it stopped producing blooms, and then it picked up again in late August as we headed into the cooler part of summer and into fall.
So you did see some blooming then at the end.
Yep.
So
if
it
you
is
can
worth
keep it alive,
keeping them.
yes, for sure.
Yeah, I did.
Keep it.
I popped them all in the pot over here. Then
Perfect.
I have a few zinnias, and then I was
Very
like, okay,
nice.
we'll just put them there and see
Yes, they will come back.
how it goes.
For sure.
This is the petunia that glows in the dark,
Does it?
which I actually haven't tried to see if it does yet or not.
Try to set a
Trying to
timer
get
on your
a
phone
little
to
bit
remember
more.
to come
I know.
out.
It has to be really dark. So
Uh-huh.
I don't know if we ever really get that dark, being that we're in the city.
True.
So, but it's interesting. It's amazing what they think of.
And look at that. That's another fairy tale fresco cascade hydrangea.
Yes, that's new this year to me. And that's one that is going to supposedly get about 4 feet wide and trail over the edge.
Lovely. So you have it in this really pretty tall planter, which is perfect for things that cascade. It's going to look really nice.
I hope so. It doesn't look like it's going to bloom this year, so I'll probably have to wait till next year.
And I love this retaining wall bed that you have here in the back of the garden with some steps that lead you to the side yard.
I love this part too. I love how the moss grows over part of it, and
Very
it gets
pretty.
nice morning sun. So we have a hydrangea up here, and then I always do some type of annual here. This is my first year using the Acapulco Rose Double Impatient, and I like how it's coming along.
Very pretty. It looks like little rosettes.
It does.
And this rose color, very pretty and vibrant from
Very
afar.
bright. Yeah, there's all different shades for the Acapulcos, but I like the real bright.
And this is another gorgeous Japanese maple that you have in this bed. It looks like a crimson queen.
It turns red in fall.
In
I
fall.
don't know what kind it is.
It's a lace leaf, and it has a beautiful cascading habit. Very mature, you can
I was
tell.
going to say, we were very lucky that it was already here and looking good.
Gorgeous. And I really love having these areas like this that you can plant up with annuals
Yes.
because you can do something different and experiment every year.
Yeah, which is fun. This is my first year doing hydrangea in these two containers. These are the zebra hydrangea.
Ooh.
So it has a black stem and the white flowers. And then the flowers get either pink or blue little stems to them.
And they're very ruffly.
Yeah, it's interesting. So
Zebra.
I believe they only bloom on old wood, but I liked them because they're unique. So I figured, okay, I'll baby them along.
Yes. Would you move these into the shed?
I will definitely
or
move
cover
those
them
in
in place
the
in the shed.
Yes,
Okay.
we're gonna have to.
I overwinter a lot of plants in my shed as
Do
well.
you?
I
Yeah.
do, yeah, like Japanese maples and
Yes.
roses that I have in pots. Like I said before, I'm terrible with roses. They don't like me as much as I like them. So I have a rose ICU.
They're tricky.
They're doing better now. So I've kept them in
tough.
pots.
Do you
They go in the
spray
shed.
them?
I use
know.
like a neem oil. I have
Yeah.
the Rose RX by Bonide that I can
Okay.
use, but in general,
That's
they are
good.
getting better.
I'm trying the beneficial insect packets
Oh.
that you get. We'll see how it goes.
Can we go up this way?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this is lovely, Natasha.
It's like a nice little shady spot here.
Like a little secret side garden.
We have some hydrangea. I'm trying to get a clematis to grow up here. We'll see. It's a little shady for it, but we'll give it a try.
Yeah, and you have another hydrangea, the Love hydrangea.
The love hydrangea, which does wonderfully for me. I highly recommend that one.
Beautiful. So this is an area that you're working on now.
Yes, this is a difficult area because it is a lot of shade over here. It's a small
Deep shade.
with deep shade, but I did get a little window box.
Oh, it's lovely.
And believe it or not, in the window box, the broalia, it won't bloom like it does getting more sun, but it will throw out blossoms, which is great. And I'm hoping the coleus will hang in there too. It gets maybe an hour of light in the afternoon. So
Nice.
deep shade.
Deep
definitely.
shade. Maybe even like regular impatiens, like the traditional impatiens might be
Yeah,
like
that
something
might
to
be
try
good.
in the future.
Definitely.
Very nice. But you know, because you have large mature trees here, you probably have lots of root competition too.
Tons of roots. It's really hard to dig.
May I make a suggestion for some dry
Please
shade?
do. Yes.
So I find that I just recently discovered this last season because I also have a couple of trees in my back woodland area that I'm trying to plant underneath. Epimedium, also known as barrenware, I believe,
Okay.
is a really great dry shade perennial. Gets these little fairy looking flowers in the spring
nice.
and it has pretty foliage. So
Okay.
that could be one you could try here.
Definitely.
And I have one that I would be happy to share with you as well, which is a geranium macrorrhizum. The variety that I have is called Bevins.
Okay.
And I find that that also grows
And that will do
beautifully
well. That's
in
what
dry
I need.
shade.
Some things that do really well in the dry shade.
Yeah.
This is the first year that I took my pansies and after having them in planters, just stuck them in the ground here. So we'll see if they bloom in the fall at all.
That would be great, yeah.
I figured it was worth a try.
Right, why not? I also took my front porch spring pots. I had 2 baskets with pansies that I grew from seed and violas. I moved them to my back woodland area where it's
Yes.
shady by a bench, and I'm hoping for the
See
same.
how it goes.
Yep.
It's worth a try.
If we put them in the shade during the hottest part of summer and keep them watered, it could be
Yeah.
that they stay alive, and when the cooler temperatures come, we might get a second flush of
be
blooms.
great, yeah.
So that would be great, right?
Another golden penny hydrangea to
Oh,
brighten it
nice.
up here a little bit. And I'm trying a climbing, this is a false climbing hydrangea. I'm
Okay.
hoping it will climb up this
The tree, so right here.
Yeah.
And you have some painted ferns, which
I
are also a great option for
do.
shady corners.
a heuchera and some astilbe. This is going to be experimental.
It's experimental. And you know, some of our friends who are watching the video might be able to make some comments down below with some suggestions on some more dry shade
Yeah.
plants that you could try. And I say dried shade because the trees with the roots will take up a lot of that moisture. So you need things that can grow around tree roots,
That's
right?
good thinking, yes.
Painted fern. I love ferns.
Painted ferns.
Yeah.
George, who is filming for us today, does love painted ferns. And I just picked up a few more to add to our garden. They are really beautiful, texture-wise and color-wise. Natasha, you want to share with our viewers your YouTube channel?
I'd love to. So I have a YouTube channel too, The Garden Mouse, and it's the 3rd year that we've been working on that. Dan and I wanted something we could do together. So my husband does the videoing like yours does, and
Yeah.
it's just a wonderful time. So, you know, go ahead, look at my YouTube channel
I will
too,
link it below.
and
I
that
will
would
link.
be great.
Yes, I'll certainly link Natasha's channel below. And you garden in Rhode Island in a zone.
6B/7A.
And we also want to check out that video that you made on the bag in a pot
In a pot,
method.
yes,
So I'll link
definitely.
that video below. I think that's a really interesting concept. I specifically like it for the plants with the different watering requirements, as well as the ability to swap centerpieces out.
Definitely.
So we'll link that below. And Natasha, your garden is lovely.
Oh, thank you.
I
Thank
wanna
you
thank
so
you.
much for
Yeah,
coming.
well,
This
and-
has been wonderful. I'm a little starstruck to
Oh,
have
no,
you here.
please
It's
don't be.
wonderful.
I'm just a regular gardener, just like everyone else. So thank you so much for having us today. It was a beautiful garden, and I very much enjoyed spending this time with you.
thank you.
And thank you so much to everyone for watching. If you have any questions for Natasha, place them below. I'll put the links to her channel. And thank you so much for spending your time with us, and I'll catch you in the next one.
We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right.